Today on Where I Got It Figured, we'll be looking at the Target exclusive Marvel Legends Thor Marvel's Ragnarok Deluxe figure. Here we have Ragnarok in his package. He was purchased from Target a little while ago now, but as I'm learning how to crank out these videos, getting my equipment together, I just kind of have a backlog of figures. This is one that was highly anticipated for the obvious reason, which is he comes with an extra Mjolnir, spinning Mjolnir, which has never come with any other figure. He's a retool of the Marvel 80 years of Marvel Legends Thor, who we will be also doing a comparison of in this video. So here's Ragnarok in his package with his extra head, extra flesh hand to replace the cyborg hand, extra flesh head to replace the cyborg head, a Mjolnir, which would of course be fake, based on this character's appearance in Civil War, where he was a clone of Thor mixed with cybernetics created by Tony Stark and some of the other scientist type characters, Hank Pym, Reed Richards. And things didn't go well in that comic. He ended up murdering Bill Foster, aka Goliath, aka Black Goliath, and he went on to do some other things. Joined the Dark Avengers, joined the Thunderbolts in different adventures. As a side character, he's really not all that important. Many people probably could skip this figure, but like I said, the spinning Mjolnir was just too much to pass up. So we're gonna get him out of the package and take a look, and we'll bring in Marvel 80th Thor as well. Here we have Ragnarok, still more or less in his factory setting, so to speak, posed out of his plastic prison, with Mjolnir in hand. And his accessories, the Thor disguise head with red eyes, which I don't know how much use it'll see, but there it is. The spinning Mjolnir, which doesn't have any kind of spin motion on it in itself. It's just one plastic piece. But I love these effect parts. They're awesome for display, and I think they did a really good job with this, spinning air in between, and the illusion of Thor winding up Mjolnir, which sometimes he would use as a shield or be preparing to throw it. Maybe he's about to fly off, whatever, There's many uses for the spinning Mjolnir in a display. And of course, in his left hand is cybernetic, and here's the flesh version, which is the same hand as what comes with the 80th anniversary Thor figure. A little bit closer detail on Ragnarok, his cybernetic hand, which by all accounts is a totally new piece. And then of course a close-up of his cyborg face, which I seem to be having some trouble getting in focus. There we go, a little better. So of course that's a battle damaged face, where perhaps he showed up pretending to be Thor, but then the jig is up. As a figure on his own, obviously, you know, the classic version of Thor from Marvel Comics, always a favorite, even though Thor's had several updates, and in fact was wearing a newer version of his costume outfit when this character appeared in Marvel Comics. Like in the movies, Thor didn't participate in Civil War proper, but they wanted to have him as kind of an impact player. This Mjolnir character, not Mjolnir, Ragnarok. Now we have Ragnarok holding his spinning Mjolnir. Goes in fairly easily. One thing I will point out that has been pointed out by other reviewers who've looked at this figure, it is very heavy in the character's hands. Now this figure has very tight joints. His arm is pretty tight. It can support the spinning Mjolnir pretty good, but I would say over time you might end up having a problem. I didn't want to, as normal, as usual, I didn't necessarily want to buy a second Thor figure just to get the spinning Mjolnir, but I reasoned, at the very least, even if I don't use Ragnarok as a character in my particular collection, what I could do is put Thor's head on. Oh, he's falling over. Put Thor's head on Ragnarok and use him as a second body for Thor, so that when his arm kind of gives out, I have another Thor to use for the spinning Mjolnir. Again, he can hold it. It's not a terrible fit. He can stand with it. He's freestanding. I'm not doing anything to support the figure. He looks good holding it. I just don't think I'm going to use Ragnarok as a character in my display, or at the very least, if I do, he certainly won't be using spinning Mjolnir. I'll give it to Thor, which is what really what I bought it for. But just details on the figure that I didn't go over as of yet. He looks good. Looks like Thor. The belt kind of stands out, maybe even a little better than the 80th anniversary version. The cape is a little bit of a different red, as you'll soon see when we do the comparison. But it's a passable Thor figure without any real flaws. I mean, it's already a figure you already have. I'm gonna pop his head off. Ooh. And also lose the spinning Mjolnir at the same time. And his head pops off pretty easily. There was no effort there. I'll swap out his cybernetic hand. Now, so yeah, I swapped out his hand, and as you can see, as I was popping his hand off, his wristband came off. And I'm not 100% sure where it went. I'll be right back. Okay, so Thor's wristband shadow accessory has been returned to him. Ragnarok, rather. I've replaced the spinning Mjolnir with the regular Mjolnir, so that I can bring in the one true Odin Son 80th anniversary Thor. They both look great. They look like Thor. My personal preference in regards to the colors would be the 80th anniversary version with his black highlights in the boots. Actually, he probably should have more black highlights, but you know, they're there, whereas this one has no black highlights. So this one has much more of a classic look. His cape is a little darker than probably what I would have liked, and I've kind of always thought that about that figure. But you know, his cape was red in the comic, and this is more true red. This one has a paint wash. And you know, they just mix and match apps. I don't think this figure has any more paint apps than this figure. It's just moved around where they decided to highlight the paint apps, like again, solid boots, but then again, this belt is a little more. There's a little more oomph to the belt. This cape has the paint wash, whereas this one doesn't. But this Mjolnir that comes with Ragnarok, to me, it just seems to have a little more character. This one almost just looks like a concrete brick. And of course, you know, if you don't have anything to compare it to, well, it looks fine, right? But when you do have something to compare to, this just for whatever reason just looks a little bit better to me. So you know, it's okay. 80th anniversary Thor most certainly can benefit from the parts of his clone. Because, you know, it's all about Thor and the Avengers. The real Thor and the real Avengers. You know, as I sit here and compare these figures, I mean, they both look great. You know, I obviously they did the original version of this figure, so we have it to compare. If you had gotten this one and this one didn't exist, you know, maybe you'd say, well, where's the black highlights in his boots? But he looks good. As far as the spinning Mjolnir, well, I don't know. I do like it. And I probably will use it for display. But I do think that, you know, as a prop, so to speak, it certainly has kind of a photography vibe to it. You know, you could take really nice pictures with it, which I'll probably do. You know, I'll do some posing and take some pictures with the spinning Mjolnir, perhaps to save the joints of both of these figures, to be honest. But you know, I'm not out on the displaying of him with the spinning hammer. I really bought the figure for the spinning hammer. So final thoughts really is, you know, I'll just reiterate, it's a Target exclusive, a $30 figure. One of the Walmarts in my area had it for $15, but with gas prices being what they are, it was so far that I was not willing to drive there for $15. So, you know, I could have bought the figure for $15, took the one I had back, you know, just got my 30 bucks back and paid $15 for the figure. I certainly feel like it would be much better value for what I'm getting, or rather what I really want, which is the spinning Mjolnir for the 15 bucks, rather than the whole $30 for a whole nother Thor. But as always, I find a use for all of my figures. So if I have 2 Thors and I'm not going to use Ragnarok as the character Ragnarok, then I would just use it as a second Thor for, you know, spinning Mjolnir holding. But you know, that's just one use. Obviously people have other uses. So if you like this video, it's gonna be it. If you like this video, you want to see more content, I am looking to improve everything, you know, everything I do. But I would certainly love your feedback, and if you could, give me a like and a subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next video where I got it figured.